Husband.
Hi.
And we are going to show you how we are going to fix that today. So I'm going to come out here. I'm short, that's why I wanted to do it inside.
Actually, maybe if you want to stay inside, it'd be better.
That's fine.
Go ahead
And
stay
then
inside
that's that. Hold on, I'm going to show up close. And we had to pull out all the foam that's in here. This is the side of the pieces of wood. And then we pulled out all the nasty, what is it, the
foam insulation. So come on around this way and point the camera down. I'll kind of just show everybody real quick what's going on with this thing. So I've watched some tutorials, watched a guy pull everything apart, put diamond plate down. We're going to be skinning this thing with regular aluminum plate. We're not going to pull everything apart. Looks like he had a shop in the winter time. He had a nice place. So we're out here in the elements. So key to this thing went to go, there's only 2 pieces of bracing wood, I call it, or screwing wood. So when your canopy is up, you have, what is it, the cords, the stretch cords that go underneath of it and latch to it on the bottom. So you got to take those out. They're actually into that wood. This wood really doesn't do a whole lot for anything structurally. Everybody's going to argue and say, yes, it does. Not really. The other thing that you want to make sure that as you're going to pull this up, after you've pulled those screw holes out, so there's one, two, three or four. So it'll start to pull up. I forgot because I got in a hurry. And you can see where the wood was wet. Over on that piece over there, you can actually see where the foam still adhered to, and you can see where the foam did no longer adhere to. I call it Veranda Board. You guys may have other names for it. And you can see back in this channel here and down in there, you can see where the rot was. So once you dig this stuff out, this is that small fiberglass layer that they use on the outside. I'm pretty sure it's a fiberglass composite material. So as you go to pull this on out, you want to make sure that those lockers, I had one fall off. Be right back, be 2 seconds.
So we are going to attempt to fix it today while he's gone. And we are going to do something that we haven't ever seen on any YouTube channel.
These are your, basically the 3 screws that go to this piece here. So that's your latch. So where these latch to, right here. So they come and latch. So this will go up underneath of it. Make sure you pull those out. I did on that side, so I'll show you my mistake. But again, we wanted to get rid of the rot, and again, that's the smell. So my wife, she's got allergies pretty bad, and it bothers her really, really bad when she's in there, in the camper, and the moist, the mildew. Another thing we found out was this flap here. You can see where it's been bent over time. This is actually supposed to be straight up and down. So we'll probably replace that. I've got a quick fix for it where I'm going to take a piece of flat aluminum, glue it to it, and that'll give us the flat piece that it used to be. But getting this thing out, it's glued. Where it's rotted, you can see all that glue and paper and everything else. I've just taken a small little file, or what are these? The Dasco Pros. You know, not to endorse a product or anything, but I just come along and get this stuff that's kind of dry and powdery, scrape it on off. I've got another way to do it with the boat industry. You come along with a rubber grinder and you grind this stuff off with the rubber grinder. I don't think I have any more of them, so this is just going to be a quick rebuild. So I come along, brace it with some wood as I go, and I've gone ahead and I've scored. Just take a cutting knife, and if you want to, score this all the way around your upper edge. Because this right here is what our aluminum is going to fit into and channel into. And we're going to put the new foam in here because that's where your strength is going to come from, and then glue down the new foam. I never like watching really long tutorials on things. So once it starts to break free in the glue, now how to go get 1-inch wood.
Oh, I forgot a screw. Did that just go through it?
Yep. So yeah, there you go. So it happens when you get old, and I left a screw and there's a hole on the other side. So that's fixable. It's not that big of a deal, but that's still a
I think it was stripped, that's why we forgot it.
pretty good mistake that I should have remembered. Anyways, so you'll see some of my mistakes. Oh well. So again, you'll see some of the Veranda board up on top. This stuff is still really good. And if you look at it, in my opinion, I do believe that these screws that aren't sealed, and they are an aluminum screw or a steel screw, I think they're a steel screw. This is where the water comes in at on these things and rots them down at the bottom. So once these things get wet at the bottom, they start to rot up at the top. And even your foam, I know foam does not rot technically, but it starts to just get real damp, and it just keeps the whole thing damp, especially with this laminate material. You can hear that it's not leaking from the top. You can see I scored that with a knife, and it just comes up, pops right off. You can hear the crustiness behind it. So that stuff is really good. This stuff is not. So once it gets wet at the bottom, it starts to saturate towards the top. So we know we don't have a leak at the top. Another thing I countered that possible leak with the top of, or at the top with, is this here. Walking on milk crates. I made a small flap over the top lip edge. I basically used a 4-inch roofing tape, and I took some blue tarpaulin to keep it from sticking, and it's just a flap that goes over it while it's sitting. So in travel it'll blow up, but it'll deflect the rain from coming down into that channel, and it comes over here and pours down. Here's other weak points. These things, old screws. So this is a 2007, so you're talking about 13, 14 years old. This thing's been sitting, not being used. So take a look here. Again, here's your material. Got to talk about that the water has channeled towards. And I just take this lightly, scrape it on out. You can see different layers of materials. You can see the wood, paperback that they use. It's a Veranda board. I believe that's a glue line on the Veranda board. And as you keep on just kind of chipping away at the rot, you want to get that all out of there. Now, what are we going to use that doesn't rot? Glad you asked. Be right back. If your store, like Home Depot, like us, doesn't sell Star Marine board, this is what I'm going to be using, or what we are going to be using. Where's that other long piece? I've been using this in the marine industry for a really long time now. And what I love about it is that you can put the stuff together. Some people glue it. I'm going to use JB plastic weld. Been using that on super bikes and the plastics on super bikes for years. But if you're the DIY guy and you're going, well, how do you get that 1-inch plywood? Well, what they do at the factory is they use 3/4 inch, and then they skin it with 1/4, or vice versa, or 5/8, and then skin it with something else. I'm not really sure the exact measurements on it because you can't tell anymore. But how are we going to get that to be the same? So we're going to sandwich this stuff. It's going to be about the same. Again, we want something now that's never going to rot again. So getting this out of the way, getting this piece out of the way, we're going to take this over to our table saw and some materials that I have. This is old scrap stuff. And we're going to build this up on the sides. This is never going to rot again. So this is going to be plastic against fiberglass with foam. And we're going to take another channel here of angle iron because we're going to want something. We're either going to go to this top edge of a 4x8 sheet of aluminum, it's never going to rot again. I see guys pulling these things apart, and I started looking at it and analyzing it and going, why are they pulling it apart? You got a top edge here you can pop your screws into. You've got an edge here you can pop your screws into, because you can see they don't really seal anything. And I like and I enjoy using Tech screws. You can use what you want, but Tech screws have a flat head on them. So we're going to take this product, get our measurements, put these together. I'll put these together with Tech screws as well. Since they're just corner braces, I don't think I'm really going to worry about gluing them together. I'm just going to screw them together. So, all right, we'll keep you posted as we go and show you the progress.